Oh, here we are, you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is October 28th, 2020, and you are now listening to Unapologetic, the podcast. And I am your host, Donovan Sadiq, and we are going to talk about the most pivotal election of your lifetime. Once again, the most pivotal election of your lifetime. Every election cycle, it is the pivotal election of your lifetime, according to the Democrats. Republicans, they just basically don't give a shit. So here we are, we're a week away from election, and it looks like, as of today, when I woke up, they said that 72 million Americans have voted by mail, absentee, however you want to call it, same thing, which is 40% of people who voted, I guess, ever, whatever the numbers are, but it's supposed to be something that is outrageous, and wow, America's really starting to work now. Wow, we got things going for us. But to black people, it is the most important election of your lifetime. Again. Now, every time they say this, how many elections have we done and our situation has gotten better? Every time we vote, 80% on average, the black vote goes to the Democratic Party, 80%. And what do we get for it? They always come to us. Oh, we gotta save. Black people gotta vote. I mean, if you guys don't vote, it's gonna be curtains. Have you ever thought about what do they mean when they say that? What do they mean when they say we gotta vote? Because if we don't vote, they're gonna just let shit happen anyway because that's what they're about. Is that what they mean? Because shouldn't they be looking out for us anyway, since they are the party of the worker and, fair to everybody, and, they're out there to do the right thing? Shouldn't that be the premise of what they stand for? So we vote for them, and we wait, and we wait, and we wait. Remember when Barack Obama was president, and he was running for re-election, and a lot of black women at the town hall called him to task, and they said, hey, I'm tired of making excuses for you. You're not getting nothing done. You're doing everything else. Yeah, we understand the economy is coming back, but black people are in a certain situation. What did he say? Well, I know I haven't really been on top of the job, and I haven't really delivered a lot of things that I said, the hope and change that I said I was going to deliver for the majority of you guys, but if you reelect me, now, I'll get it done. And like the idiots that we are, we fell for it. And what did he do for us? Absolutely nothing. And then they wonder why we're pissed off today with everything that's going on. Why are we pissed off? Makes you wonder. So it's up to black people to save America. And then we do it, and what do we get for it? Even if that was the case, it's up to us to save America. We got to get Trump up out of there. We got to get him out. Okay, we get him out. What do we get? Do we get better legislation? Do we get better jobs? Do we get reparations? Do we get something that's going to help our communities? We just saved the country. Whenever our troops go overseas, we're giving them discounts. We're just we love them. We got national security. We got the VA. They're getting something for their service. What do we get? I'm just asking. I'm asking for a friend. The most pivotal election of your lifetime. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris said on day one, they are going to do for DACA, they are going to do for Dreamers, and they are going to do for everybody else but black people. Kamala Harris was told in an interview recently that she is the most liberal Democrat senator. Where? How? Where does her record show that she's a liberal? If you look at her record, which I don't understand, a lot of you people don't want to look at people's records. It tells you who they are. Her record says nothing about being a liberal. It really tells you more so of her being a conservative. She's a conservative. But people don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear the truth. Because the truth upsets their narrative. There's nothing about Kamala Harris that shows that she's a liberal. She signed on for Bernie's health care plan. And, because you remember Bernie was in the news. It's a good way to get your name out there. And then when it's all said and done, she's laughing at you. No! I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do what Joe says he wants to be done. Joe's not for universal health care. He talks like he's for it, but he's not. He said, I'm for the status quo. You can't be for the status quo and be for universal health care and all these other things. Look at his platform. Look at the Democratic platform. There's nothing progressive about that platform. There's nothing progressive on it. Why do you think the progressives are pissed off? There's no progressive stuff on that platform. But this is the most pivotal election of your lifetime. We were on the war zone. I'm sorry, not the hot seat. The war zone last night, and a young person was repeating the Democratic talking point. Oh, Obama couldn't get anything done because his hands were tied. Mitch McConnell blocked all these bills. Okay, Mitch McConnell could only block bills that come out of the House, okay, or in the Senate, because he's the majority leader. Obama couldn't do anything, right? When was DACA signed? Was that done in the first 2 years? Or was that done after the first 2 years? And you know what? It really doesn't matter what years it was done. It was done by executive order. And it's being ruled right now if it's constitutional or not. And I think they ruled it was okay, but not okay. Something's going on with it. But I guess they're going to rule on it fairly soon. But you can't say his hands were tied when he went around the Congress and put executive orders to give these people some form of legal status. You can do that as president. That's one thing Donald Trump has shown. Executive orders could supersede a lot of stuff. And he dares the lawmakers to do something about it. Remember when Obama was in office, what was the Republican talking point? Oh, he's not a dictator. All these executive orders, he's not a dictator. He's a dictator. He's a dictator because he's not following the laws. He's not executing the laws that we make. He's making his own laws using executive orders. Remember that? That was the talking point. So when somebody says that Obama's hands were tied, that's not true. That's bullshit. It's a talking point. A president's hand is not tied. He can do a lot of stuff by executive order. Thus, you see Trump rolling back everything Obama did legislatively. So, it was really sad how people don't do their homework. So now, steamrolling, we get a Biden-Harris presidency. Here's a woman who started off as a side chick for the original Slick Willie Brown of California. And she obviously has a problem with black men. And she's an opportunist. Everybody can see that. You cannot refute the fact that Kamala Harris is an opportunist. You can't refute that. Okay? She was overwhelmingly rejected by voters and black people when she ran for presidency in her own right. So, let's say they do win, okay, and it's projected that they probably will win. What do you get? Trump's out of office. What do you get? You're going to get a bunch of years of the Trump drama with his crimes and all that all these distractions are going to happen. They're going to do DACA, LGBTQ, and all that other stuff. But what do you get, Black America? What are you getting out of the deal? Are you getting universal health care? I always have a question when I go on other shows. California is predominantly a liberal, democratic state. Why doesn't California have universal health care? Super duper majority here in California. Why doesn't California have universal health care as a state by itself? Since the Democrats are for all that. So, the election's in less than a week, and I've been sitting back and looking and wondering, all of the people who have fought tooth and nail, have ended friendships over a political system that doesn't give a damn about you. These people are the same. Corporate Democrats are no different than corporate Republicans. Did you guys see Dianne Feinstein hug Lindsey Graham? It looks like Lindsey Graham might be going down to defeat. She says that was the best. And that was an example of corporate Democrats. Dianne Feinstein is nothing but a Republican posing as a Democrat, and a Democrat, Joe Manchin, he's a Republican posing as a Democrat. Dianne Feinstein, she's a Republican posing as a Democrat. Donald Trump is a Democrat posing as a Republican. They're interchangeable. That would be like me being a black man saying that I'm a white guy, even though my skin says that I'm black. It can't be interchangeable. I mean, in my mind, I might think I'm a white man, and you've got some black people out there that act like that, like the AG of Kentucky, Cameron. And by the way, the white supremacy broke him. When the white supremacy is done with its tools, it breaks its tools. So, but I'm not interchangeable. My skin and their skin, a white person, I don't care if you're Eminem or not, you're not a black person. You can't, it's not interchangeable. You can't interchange it. Yes, can you go from being a Democrat to a Republican as you grow older and maybe you get more conservative, you get more knowledge and stuff? Of course. From experience comes wisdom. Of course. Ronald Reagan, lifelong Democrat, but he ran as a Republican, right? Actor, he didn't give a shit. What is going to get the job done? Who's going to pad my pockets? That's what all this is about. But I sit back in this election cycle and I look at families and generations that have like torn themselves apart in regards to, politics. And then what people don't understand is the fact that when you look at your neighborhood, I bring this up all the time. Have you guys ever met a poor black Republican? I've met a lot of poor Democrats. Poor Democrats are everywhere. They're everywhere. But the majority of black Republicans I've met are pretty well off. And I understand why it is, but I don't understand why you guys don't understand why that is. You give your vote to a party that does not deliver. And when I was on the war zone last night, I gave this analogy. Do you guys ever go to a restaurant and receive horrible service and still leave a tip for the horrible service? That's what the Democratic Party does to us as a people. I'm not a Democrat, so no, I'm not a Democrat. I'm a recovering Democrat. Okay, like a recovering alcoholic, I'm a recovering Democrat. I finally wised up and realized this is not good for me. The Republican Party isn't good for me either, so don't get it twisted. I'm not telling anybody to go join the Republican Party. Again, these are the same people. The ruling party. They're just fooling you. They work together. They work together. There's no doubt about that. And why people can't see that is beyond me. But I'm a recovering Democrat, and I'm an independent now. And because I'm an independent, it's really amazing when you can see things for the way they are politically and what they're actually doing. I'm giving my vote to a party that isn't doing a service for me. And then whenever I ask somebody from 1968 up until now, 60 years later, name me something the Democrats have done that is tangible to black people. The Democrats can't even hold the Supreme Court, but they're for protecting women's rights. Roe versus Wade, that's their pivotal thing. Did anybody see the Democrats fight to uphold that nomination? I just don't get it. And then the first thing they say is, we did everything we could. I didn't see you fight at all. 3 nominations in a row, Democrats just rolled over. And it makes me wonder, are you guys really for the working person? Well, you never talk about the Republicans. They don't need to talk about the Republicans. Their resume is their districts. Look at their districts. That's their resume. Now, you look at Democratic districts. Look at Democratic districts. Name me a Republican district that has a ghetto in it. I'll wait. Can't think of one, can you? Neither can I. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not from Kentucky. I don't know what's going on. These country places, it's a different kind of ball game type thing there. But remember, the country, you can't call a country homestead a ghetto because the people live away from each other a little bit. They have land and stuff like that. Yeah, I've seen some real Kentucky kickers, right? But it's not a ghetto. It's a big difference. Big difference. But don't you guys ever question what's going on? Just say, look, why is my neighborhood like this? Why am I continually giving these people my vote? They're continually fooling me and not providing me with good service. But I keep voting for them in the hope that they will. It's almost like going to a gentleman's club, and there's the stripper, and she really, you look in her face, and she really doesn't want to be there, and she's just sucking her teeth, and she's jiggling her breasts possibly, and maybe twinkling her butt, but she isn't really giving you a show. She really doesn't want to be there. Or you go into a gentleman's club, and you see all the girls that are there, and they just want to sit with their regulars. And you came with your friends for a bachelor party or just to have a good time, and all the girls are sitting with their regulars. Do you still get up and tip them anyway? That's what we do, with the Democratic Party. We tip them anyway. Here you go. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, you gave me bad, so you didn't do shit for me, but I'll give you my vote again. But I've seen whole families destroyed and arguing over 2 parties that don't give a damn about them. So now that the election seems to be done, what are you guys going to do now? What are you guys going to do? Biden has won. You're going to watch and see him give citizenship to non-citizens. You're going to watch and see him, give money to the LGBT community and all these other things. And then as black people, the very vote that determines the presidency in every election, you're going to sit there and you get nothing. All those tax dollars, you're going to get nothing. 0. Oh, the kids in the cages, we got to do something about them. Yes, very horrific. But if you're crying about those Hispanic kids, why aren't you crying about the thousands of black people that were incarcerated under the 1994 crime bill? And the very crime bill that Karma Chameleon Kamala used to keep a man on death row here in California. Look at her record. Look at her record. It isn't about being right or wrong, okay? We have to get out of this, again, I say it all the time, this team mentality. The Dodgers just won the World Series. I'm in California. I'm an hour outside of Los Angeles. I've been a Dodger fan since 1977. The Dodgers haven't won a World Series since 1988. I have been with the Dodgers all of those years. I don't jump I'm not a bandwagon fan. And that's the society we have. We have a society of bandwagon fans. They just want to be on the winning team. They don't care. Where are all the Patriot fans at? Tom Brady left the Patriots. Nobody's talking about the Patriots anymore. What a great team they are. Blah, blah, blah. Nobody's talking about that anymore. Do you guys see what I mean when I say we have a bandwagon culture of people? That's what we have. People just always want to be on the winning team, regardless of, the Lakers won. Yeah, I'm a Laker fan. I've always been a Laker fan, but I'm not a LeBron James fan. I'll take the win, but I don't have any respect for LeBron James, because I come from the school of great players want to play against other great players, not with them. That's why you had a Magic Johnson, you had a Larry Bird, you had a Hakeem Olajuwon, you had a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you had a Clyde Drexler, you had a Kevin McHale. I mean, I can go on and on and on and name all of these people who are Hall of Famers that played against each other. And it came down to how many rings you got. The debate still rages, Michael Jordan is the greatest player ever. Wrong. Based on what? The only thing you should base a player on is their stats. Now, if Michael Jordan was a boxer, you can say that because it's up to him by himself to be a great player. But Michael Jordan cannot win championships by himself. And earlier in his career, it was proven he couldn't until they brought him help. In a team sport, you have to play your position. But if you're talking about the overall greatest player that ever played basketball, by the numbers, you have to go by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You just have to. He's in the top 5 in almost every category and holds the greatest award you can hold in basketball, which is the points total. You're 7'2", and you have a shot that nobody can stop. Even in his 20th year, he was averaging 20 points or close to that. Nobody has ever even come close to that. So Michael Jordan, I'm not saying he's not great. Yeah, he's great at his position. But to call him the greatest that ever played, no, I don't think so. I just don't think that. That's just my personal opinion. But then again, there you go. There's that mentality. And the Chicago Bulls are the greatest team. Oh my God, the Chicago Bulls. Where are the Chicago Bull fans now? Golden State fans, where are they at now? Oh, we'll be back next year. You see what I'm saying? And that's how we are with our politics. Everybody wants to win, wants to be on the winning team. How can you vote for a mass incarceration ticket that this Democratic Party put up, knowing you got Uncle Reefus in jail, and he's been sitting in jail for 30 years on a minor drug possession? How could you vote for this ticket? How could you vote for either of the tickets? So everybody keeps asking me, well, da-da-da-da. Yeah, you're right. It would be hypocritical for me to tell you that one party is better than the other, but there's other options. Guys, do me a favor and go look at the Green Party's platform. See, but that's our problem as black people. We love the sound bites. We love them. We don't do our homework. We don't want to do our homework. We have what's called the white shadow syndrome. And what's the white shadow syndrome? Remember the TV show White Shadow, about a white coach who's coaching a basketball team, mostly of black kids in the inner city. And the premise of the show was every time the black person, the kids, one of the basketball players, had a problem, the only person that can solve it was the coach, the white man, the white guy. We couldn't solve our own problems. But that was the premise of the show. The white shadow. And that's our problem as a people. We keep waiting for other people to solve our problem. And when you do that, you will never be free. Never, ever, ever, ever will you be free. We have to start solving our own problems. There are very limited jobs. Andrew Yang said this, when he was running for the presidency, and he made it starkly apparent. Hold on, let me take a sip of this. And there was no COVID at the time. He said specifically, and I'm paraphrasing, black people, you have less than 12 years before you're a slave. That's basically what he said. We will be out of wealth as a people in 12 years. Now, minus the COVID, it's even less than that now. The majority of black people's wealth in this country is either in their house and in their car. A car that depreciates. And then we have houses, and a majority of us coming from single-family homes, the house depreciates because we don't know how to keep it up. We let our sons play Nintendo and PlayStation and just sit there and just be vegetative state because, they're going to be technical wizards and all that other stuff. But they can't put a shingle on a roof. They can't do certain things. So the house depreciates, and then when they sell the house, instead of making a significant profit, we take a loss. We take a loss. And of course, again, I say it all the time. With time comes wisdom. With experience comes wisdom. If you're 30 years old and you invest in a home and you don't have the skills, and I hear a lot of brothers say this too, and I think they should stop saying this. Well, I don't need mechanical skills. I'll just pay somebody to do it. Idiot. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Because guess what? Who are you paying? You're paying Hector and his independent business to fix your shit that you should either fix yourself, or if you're going to pay somebody that looks like you to keep the money in our community. Because Hector is going to take that money and go to his community with it. And then they benefit. But this is the kind of mental thinking that we have prevalent in the black community. And usually a person that says that, a black man that says that, was raised without a black father in the home. Not in all cases, but in most cases. Because usually if there's a father in the home, he's not going to tell you to go pay somebody to do something you most likely can do yourself, or pay somebody that looks like you to keep the money in the community. That is a woman's mentality. And rightly so. Women should not have to be called on to do what men should be doing. So yes, most women will pay, and there's nothing wrong with that. But again, same thing to you women. If you're going to pay, make sure you pay to somebody that looks like you, not to Hector. So it's going to be interesting. But what a lot of people aren't talking about is if Donald Trump loses the election, and you've heard the threats that are out there by these white militia groups and all this other stuff. Let me ask you this, Black America. Why is it that whenever there is a turn in the gun campaign, it's only in the ghetto? It's only in the hood, turn in the guns. They don't go out to the suburbs and say, hey, come on, turn in your guns. We'll give you a voucher for a Starbucks coffee. The Democratic Party and the NAACP and the Congressional Black Talkers have tricked you into disarming yourself. Now the threats are out there. So what are you going to do? How are you going to defend yourself? Nobody thinks about this stuff. Lack of the father in the home. That was done by design. And the black women fall for it every time. Every time. And it's sad. But here we are. I'm going to cut this video a little short today because I'm scheduled to fly at 2 o'clock with a friend of mine. We're going to be flying, and I got to go get ready for it. But the election is coming up. I'm not going to be one of those idiots to tell you, vote! Go vote! get something for your vote. That doesn't make any sense to go vote. That's like just telling somebody to go take a shit. Anybody can do it. If you're going to vote, get something for your vote. It's a transaction. You're going to give this party your vote and your power to legislate over you, and they do it very badly, and you're going to give them the vote and not question it at all. Not demand anything. Well, some people are just used to being a slave. Marcus Garvey said, not everybody's going to make the vote. And that's real talk. Hey, you guys, I'm Donovan Sadiq. I'm unapologetic. And I want to talk to you guys also, too, before I go. We're going to be launching another podcast. And this is a different podcast. It's going to be called the Grown Ass Woman Show. And it's a podcast of women, talking about issues that affect women. And it's going to be a very, very good show. I want you guys to check it out. It's going to premiere here on Unapologetic. I'll let you guys know. I got to fly all the way to Atlanta to premiere it. A good friend of mine is going to do it. And her name is Mickey Jenkins. Or Harris, depending on, how you know her. I've known this girl since high school, and I'm telling you, she has a story to tell. A lot of women, I'm very sure, could identify with it, because this journey that we call life, that is basically called the struggle, quote, quote, everybody has to go through it, and every young woman goes through it. And I think that we need honest speaking about what a lot of our young princesses are going to have to deal with, because nobody's talking to them. You've got these young girls out here that think going on to the pole is an option, or out there thotting is the only option, because nobody's talking to them. Their first love, their father, is absent for whatever reasons. These young women have fallen into the trap that being married is not good. It's not a good thing, because they saw their mom not married. They saw their dads not married. Or no, let me get that right. They saw their mom and dad married, just not to each other, to other people. These young girls believe that you have to go through one terrible experience of a relationship before you get to the good one. And that is just a sad, sad commentary to say. But a lot of young girls believe that. So that's what this podcast is going to talk about. So some of them could think before they make a move. All these women, these men ain't shit, and they're angry at men. But unless you were sexually assaulted, you're the one picking the men that you're dealing with. You're the one not asking the questions. You're not the one that is verifying, trusting but verifying he works where he says he works. He's not living with his mama, all that kind of stuff. So I want you guys to check that out. That's going to be an awesome podcast. I can't wait till it launches. I'm definitely going to be producing. I'm going to be producing it, so you might see me on it every now and then. And I think it's going to be needed, especially after this election, because once again, we're going to get nothing. And the only thing that's going to solve the black issue is the money that is owed to us, the debt that is owed to us. If we've got money, a lot of our problems stem from the fact that we don't have money. And nobody can refute that. Crime in any community comes about due to lack of resources. It's as simple as that. Lack of resources. Has the Democratic Party, NAACP, Congressional Black Talkers addressed that? They like putting out statements. I need tangible action. Anyway, you guys, if you guys feel the need, my Cash App is up there. It's Cash App Donovan Sadiq. If you feel the need to bless me with 50 cents, $1, every bit helps. Keeps these shows going, and so I can open up other shows and I can help other people and get the word out. I am a resurrector. People say, what does that mean? It means I help resurrect the dead. Black people are mentally dead. With what's going on in the country right now, you got Negroes that are dancing in the streets with the oppressor. The news showed somewhere in Atlanta or Georgia, black folks waiting in line to vote, and they decided to dance. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm happy that they're voting, but do you see the difference between certain people? People that are about their shit, we ain't got time to dance because, number one, I want to get out of there. Yeah, I would be too agitated because I've got bills to worry about. I got places I need to go. It's always the people who rely on the other people to do the work that are just dancing and doing what they got to do. You know what I mean? And just having a good old time. How are you having a good old time when they're murdering us in the streets? How are you dancing when you should be looking at your fucking ballot to see how you're gonna vote? But those are the ignorant Negroes that just vote because somebody told them to vote, and they don't know what they're voting for. Do you know the difference between this proposition and this proposition? Do you truly understand it? If you're going to be in that line and you don't understand it, you need to be talking to other people in the line so you can get a better understanding of what you're voting for. But no, niggas just dance. And that's why we keep losing. Guys, I'm Donovan Sadiq. I'm unapologetic. We will talk to you guys mañana.